Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office YouTube channel. What's that sound that you hear? Well, that, of course, is the Simmons siren. Ben Simmons is back, we hope. According to Ian Begley of SNY, Ben Simmons has experienced no setbacks this summer and is now at 100% and is focusing on conditioning and skill development as he gets ready for next season. Begley also offers this tantalizing tidbit that Ben Simmons will be in competition for the Brooklyn Nets starting point guard position. So, first and foremost, what's going on with Ben Simmons? Well, he's had a myriad of back issues, only played in 42 games last season, and looked like a shell of his former self. I mean, averaged just 7 points on him, rounding up to get there, 6.1 assists, 6.3 rebounds. This is a guy who's a 3-time All-Star. At one point looked like maybe the best defensive player in the NBA, was not that guy last season. Don't forget, this is the player who the Nets traded James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers in order to get. Now, things haven't worked out great on the 76ers end either. We know James Harden is asking for a trade there, and we're all watching to see what's going to happen on that end. But Ben Simmons is given and is under contract this season for $37.9 million, and then the following season at $40.3 million, as you can see here on Spot Track. So the Nets, they need Ben Simmons to give them something. You can't just have almost $38 million this season and over $40 million next season just sitting dead on your books. That is brutal, especially for a team that is trying to rebuild, trying to retool around the pieces that they got. Kevin Durant is gone. Kyrie Irving is gone. But I actually think the Nets have done a pretty decent job putting together some very interesting talents. Mikal Bridges, one of my favorites. He is absolutely fantastic, and they've got him in the mix. Then you add Cam Johnson. You want to talk about wing depth. Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal as well. Those four create a really, really interesting, very versatile group of wings that you can put in there. And then you've got one of the more exciting young bigs in the NBA as well, and Nick Claxton. I'm expecting a big season out of him. He's going to hit free agency in the summer of 2024. You know he's going to be doing everything he can to get a big new contract next summer. So I think the arrow is actually pointing up despite the Nets dealing with the situation that they're in with Ben Simmons, and despite them being forced into trading both Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I think they've done a pretty good job bouncing back here. But can Ben Simmons, or perhaps the appropriate word is should Ben Simmons be their starting point guard? That would mean he would have to beat out Spencer Dinwiddie, who is on an expiring contract, $20.4 million this season, though he is extension eligible. So if you're going to put Ben Simmons into the starting lineup, first and foremost, defensively, if Ben can be the Ben Simmons of old, then I love this. I love this defensively. Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. Oh my gosh, so much switchiness on the defensive end of the floor. You add in Nick Claxton, even if you want to go small and you put Ben Simmons at the 5 and you swap in Royce O'Neal, that could be absolutely hellacious. You could switch 1 through 5. The Nets defense could be much improved. Again, huge if Ben Simmons can get anywhere close to being the defender that he used to be. However, on the offensive end of the floor, assuming Nick Claxton is going to remain in the starting lineup, and he should, I think you've got some concerns there, right? Spencer Dinwiddie is at least a credible threat behind the three-point line. You have to defend him out there. Ben Simmons is not. Let's face it, as much as people have been begging for years for Ben Simmons to, well, get back on the court for one thing, but also develop a three-point shot, it's just not going to happen. And with Claxton and Simmons on the floor together, my concern is that it's going to bog down the paint because nobody's going to defend Ben Simmons behind the three-point line. Nobody's going to defend Claxton out there either. He's going to hang out in the dunker spot, and that is going to make life difficult on guys like Mikal Bridges, like Cam Johnson, who can shoot extremely well, but Dorian Finney-Smith had a down year shooting the ball from behind the arc. If that continues, suddenly the lanes to the basket could get swallowed up very quickly for a guy like Bridges, particularly since Cam Johnson is at his best as a spot-up shooter as well. Now, again, maybe there's some things you can do to mitigate that. Royce O'Neal is a little bit better shooter compared to Dorian Finney-Smith. If you want to get a little bit smaller, you could plug him in, bring Finney-Smith off the bench. But still, the offensive end is where my concerns lie. Now, you do need a ball handler who can distribute, and Simmons can do that. Cam Johnson can thrive with a guy who can drive and kick, and Ben Simmons can do that as well. But I've got some concerns in terms of their floor spacing on the offensive end. Defensively, oh boy, could be fantastic if Ben Simmons can get back to his old self offensively. That's where I think the concerns would lie with Simmons beating out Spencer Dinwiddie for the starting job. Again, I think if it's all even here, the Nets have a more vested interest in getting Ben Simmons to return to form than they do in getting Spencer Dinwiddie to have another strong season, especially heading into a free agent summer. If the Nets have any thought that Ben Simmons can work in their starting lineup, I wouldn't be surprised to see them give it a shot. Fingers crossed. Hopefully he can indeed bounce back in a big way, because it wasn't all that long ago that he was one of the most exciting young talents in the NBA. But front office fans, give us your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget, subscribe right here to the NBA Front Office YouTube channel. See ya and stay safe.